At a recent media preview of the new Persona, Proton claimed that over the course of 5 years, the Persona would cost $3,051.91 in scheduled servicing, which is 32% less compared to the Perodua Bezza. This has since prompted the second national carmaker to release a statement saying these details are inaccurate and misleading. The inaccuracy and cost difference is due to a comparison made not on an apple-to-apple basis. The Proton Persona's service costs were calculated as scheduled in its service booklet or owner's manual, whilst for the Bezza, the calculation was based on its preventive maintenance costs, which are optional, instead of scheduled costs as recommended in the service booklet, said Datuk Zahari Hussain, managing director at Perodua Sales. Naturally, this got many people curious about the service costs for the two models, and to try and make sense of it all, we decided to dig up the figures from the official websites of both national carmakers to see what's what. In the case of the Persona, the Proton model is only available with a 1.6-liter engine, with a choice of a 5-speed manual transmission or a CVT. The closest comparison will be the Bezza with the 1.3-liter engine, which can be had with either a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. Just for additional info, we'll even throw in the 1.0-liter version of the Bezza, but this isn't part of the main comparison. Perodua Bezza versus Proton Persona service costs. Click to enlarge. Over a 100,000 kilometers or 5-year period, the Bezza appears to be more expensive of the two models to maintain, regardless of transmission type. Perplexed as to, and to understand the reason for the disparities in maintenance costs, let's take a look at the individualized item list of both models. Firstly, the Bezza uses a lower viscosity engine oil, OW20, when compared to the Persona, 10W30, that comes at a higher premium. The Bezza 1.3's advanced 1NRV 4-cylinder engine also uses iridium spark plugs that need to be changed at 50,000 and 100,000 kilometers, with each set costing Rm 220.40. By comparison, the Persona doesn't use iridium spark plugs, so, while it needs more frequent replacements, every 30,000 kilometers, replacing them only costs Rm 51 each time. Next, we also notice that the Bezza requires transmission oil changes at 40,000 and 80,000 kilometers, while this only happens once for the Persona within 100,000 kilometers. The same can also be said of the radiator coolant, which is replaced more frequently on the Bezza, 40,000 and 80,000 kilometers, than the Persona, 90,000 kilometers only. Perodua Bezza 1.0L, left. Perodua Bezza 1.3L, right. Click to enlarge. The Bezza's maintenance schedule also requires the cabin filter to be replaced every 30,000 kilometers, but this isn't listed with the Persona. It is also worth noting that the Bezza's engine uses a timing chain rather than a timing belt, with no replacement listed within 100,000 kilometers. By comparison, the Persona requires a front-end accessory drive feed belt change at 100,000 kilometers. Perodua also offers preventative maintenance measures such as major service for the air conditioning system, as well as tire alignment, balancing and rotation. These are included as part of the maintenance schedule by default, but they are in fact optional as part of the Pro Care package that Perodua offers to customers. Should you decide to forego these preventative maintenance measures like the tire-related maintenance, available at selected outlets only, every 20,000 kilometers, you won't need to fork out Rm 245 within the 100,000 kilometers ownership period. Skip the air conditioning service at 60,000 kilometers, and you'll save Rm 144 as well. Proton Persona 1.6 LCVT and MT. Click to enlarge. Without including the optional preventative maintenance measures that cost Rm 389 in total, the Bezza 1.3 it will cost Rm 3,861.91 to maintain over 100,000 kilometers, 5 years, or Rm 3,733.03 in the case of the Bezza 1.3 MT. These figures are still higher than those associated with the Persona by 26.61% and 31.35% respectively, but do consider the number of items listed in the Bezza's maintenance schedule that are not in the Persona's. Keep in mind that there are some factors that aren't considered here, like fuel consumption, or even consumables like brake pads, shock absorbers, batteries and tires that would likely vary between the two vehicles as well as through individual ownership.